Alright. Main event. Actually, the main event is more or less positioned as Lost Odyssey, although it's a quad main event, despite the fact Blue Dragon only has one fucking thing. Alright, let's see this. This game should have been out by now, so it should be like the finished graphics.
I won't lie to you, Shepard. Things look bad. A rogue Spectre's trouble. It's Saren. He hates humans.
Yeah, this shit's fucking awesome.
Destroy the entire colony.
He has an army of Geth at his command, and he won't stop until he's wiped humanity from the galaxy.
I'll find some way to take him down.
It's like the Fable trailer is like, hey, we're more Fable. Mass Effect's like, we're all gonna fucking die.
Saren has allied himself with the Geth, but had something to do with that beacon.
Shepard!
Shepard, your species needs to learn its place. You can't possibly understand what's really at stake.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. All right, let's see here. Sci-Fi versus Mass Effect. Sci versus Fi Mass Effect. What the fuck? It must be a sci-fi thing. Oh, I remember this trailer. This is old. It doesn't represent the game really at all. It's kind of closer to something you'd seen in Andromeda, but even that, you know, didn't quite pull it off.
Setting new course for Caliston.
But I mean, it looks cool, so you know.
Decisions lie ahead.
And in theory,
Easy.
you could do this. I mean, do a mission like that and ignore the other one, and in the sequel, it's like, oh, all those people died. Like, if you bring down the sky installed and you ignore that, you know. All right. So I mean, it's taking liberties.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet, if you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
I want to control it. Fuck.
Saving the galaxy from certain destruction? No. But I've had my share of adventures. So that's it. All this time, and that's all I get from you. How can you not see what this means to the Krogan?
A Spectre can't answer to anyone but the Council. I think it's about time we told the Commander what's really going on.
Since they drove my people into exile, the Geth have never ventured beyond the Veil. Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce, and we are constantly on the move. It's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it would strain our resources to their breaking point.
I'm interested in this world we're going to. Eden Prime. I've heard it's quite beautiful. It's become something of a symbol for your people, hasn't it? Proof that humanity can not only establish colonies across the galaxy, but also protect them. But how safe is it really?
This is an outrage! The Council would step in if the Geth attacked a Turian colony?
The Turians don't found colonies on the borders of the Terminus systems, Ambassador.
You can't just ignore a rogue Spectre. I demand action!
You don't get to make demands of the Council, Ambassador.
We will discuss the CSEC findings at the hearing, not before. We identified the ship that touched down on Eden Prime. There is power in creation.
You know, this would have been better if they show like the voice actor, like played by whatever, because there's not really much skill on here. Dr. Chalkwash gets a fucking spotlight. Is Presley gonna get one too?
Too secure. I figured the colonies were teeming with exotic adventure. I wanted to travel the stars, tending the wounds of tough soldiers with piercing eyes and sensitive souls.
She being sarcastic? They got Kirahi.
I have come to trust each of you with my life, but I have also heard murmurs of discontent. I share your concerns. We are trained for espionage. We would be legends, but the records are sealed. Glorying in battle is not our way.
The age of humanity is ended.
Manuel?
Only ruin and corpses will remain. Is it madness to see the future? To see the destruction?
You can completely ignore these two people and not miss anything. Why is he getting a character spotlight?
I'm the only sane one left.
Say goodnight, Manuel.
The darkness is coming. The end.
Oh, because they're gonna show this. Okay, that makes sense. They're being funny. They're being funny. That was a waste of time, though. This segment sucks. Leave it to. Well, I guess still the worst one is still probably part 3 of that Fable one. You know. Oh, it's not over yet. This one's giving it a run for its money.
Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams of the 212. You the one in charge here, sir?
Are you wounded, Williams?
A few scrapes and burns, nothing serious. The others weren't so lucky. We tried to get off a distress call, but they cut off our communications. I've been fighting for my life ever since.
Any idea what kind of enemy we're facing?
I think they're Geth.
Saren's hiding something. Give me more time. Stall them.
Stall the council? Don't be ridiculous. Your investigation is over, Garrus.
Commander Shepard, Garrus Vicarian. I was the officer in charge of the CSEC investigation into Saren.
Come across anything I should know about?
Saren's a Spectre. Most of his activities are classified. I couldn't find anything solid. But I know he's up to something. Like you humans say, I feel it in my gut.
On occasion, I have run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumbled across small bands of privateers. That probably does not seem very exciting to someone like you. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element 0 in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
Captain Anderson, you always seem to be involved when humanity makes false charges against me. And this must be your protege, Commander Shepard.
Saren despises humanity. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
Your species needs to learn its place, Shepard. You're not ready to join the Council. You're not even ready to join the Spectres.
Savage. So who's it missing? It's doing some random characters. It didn't have Presley, right? Thank God that's over. Let's see if this Psi versus Phi thing is gonna get.
Mass Effect is a space opera.
It is.
It's one of the most powerful pieces.
Oh, it's that guy.
I've seen in my lifetime.
It's shot like a movie. It feels like a movie.
Hey, that guy was in
It's like a lucid dream.
Scott Pilgrim and some other stuff. Now, why did that come to mind?
Going to these new planets and they finding different aliens and they shooting them in the ass. Bam! You know, I'm on it, man. I like that.
Guy likes murdering aliens. Man of my heart. This is going to get me copyright blocked, isn't it? Oh, I'll find out.
Mass Effect is a grand and epic
sci-fi adventure.
Oh, not a
game,
game journalist.
Which kind of plays like 24 in space.
The idea behind it is to try and make a role-playing game for people that helps them live those science fiction moments from classic movies
You know,
we grew up with.
yeah, not bad.
Over Star Wars.
Minus Han Solo.
Plus Babylon 5 meets Aliens.
With Sean Cassidy to the 10th power.
Who's Sean Cassidy?
You're a character in a distant universe, this aspirational fantasy, allowing you to do things you could never do in real life.
In Mass Effect, you are the hero. You're controlling the action, and what you do can change the outcome.
Ultimately,
You shoot the guy or you die.
Fate of the galaxy. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
This game is awesome.
Okay,
because
I mean, right?
you
What?
can customize your hero. You can be a woman, you can be a man, you can be a bald albino with no eyebrows, you can be a horrifically scarred Asian veteran. You have many choices of character. It's very exciting, and
In Andromeda, you could
your
be
choices in the game.
those three, and that's it.
gives you building blocks in which to build your character up, but the choices and how that character develops throughout this Mass Effect story really depends on you.
As you play Commander Shepard, you basically encounter
Oh,
several
she was
people
in
who join up with your
Mass
squad
Effect 3, right?
if you choose to have them.
It's the ultimate role-playing game. It's kind of a combination of everything you've seen in role-playing games, but also in third-person shooters combined into one.
We wanted to put it on a next-generation console, Xbox 360, and just push everything to the next level.
I want to say we wanted to put it on the Game Boy
The
Advance.
enemy with guns blazing, or you can take a more subtle approach.
Let's not do anything we're all going to regret.
You can play it like a chess player. You can play it like, say, a Halo player.
You have biotic powers that you can use where you can influence the physical world using energy attacks, lifting things, sabotaging things with your mind. And then there's, your gun. You can shoot aliens in the face. That's fun.
You gotta, be on your toes. You gotta he behind you shooting you in the ass. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to shoot you in the ass. Well, he just shot
This
me
guy
in the ass.
has a fixation on asses, man.
Burning the guy, you can tell the guy's hurting, and you can see a hole in his ass. And I'm like, oh, come on now.
What the fuck?
When you play the game and when you see
Host of Gamehead, or is he host and Gamehead?
It feels like
the head of all games.
It feels like a universe you want to continue to adventure.
Fuck is Gamehead? Oh shit, it's Wayne Brady.
And all these different things.
There are so many planets that you can just land on and go explore, even if you're doing nothing related to the main story of the game.
It's just so huge. You're exploring the entire universe and you're making all the decisions. It's freaking sweet.
Everyone who plays the game will have a different experience because it's not a game, it's a piece of interactive fiction that shapes itself to how you want to play the game.
Why is there one off center?
One they call Shepard.
Is there a problem?
You are actually involved in your character's progression and your choices.
I like to think they're all like sitting in a row and they're just panning the camera.
All you need to know is
So your turn.
You get
Now
to be
talk.
The actor and the director of your own interactive fiction.
Movies are very stagnant. You cannot yell up at the actor on the screen and say, hey, move over to the left, there's an alien coming.
This is like a brand new way of video gaming and storytelling.
It's different. It's thinking.
I mean,
part
no.
of the fun of when we were younger, you didn't have to think that much. It's like throwing a rock through the window. But now the window throws rocks back at you and it hides and turns into things.
Describing Prey 2016, 2017. When did that version come out?
Issues of sacrifice and torture and all these deep problems where there's not really a right answer.
Is it okay to dispose of one person? Is it okay to dispose of a colony of people? Is
Yes.
it okay to dispose of hundreds of people? Is it okay to commit genocide? These are difficult questions, and the answers are not obvious.
And they're talking about the Rachni with that last one. Is it genocide if you kill the last one? I guess technically, right?
It's not even kind of a standard just choosing good and evil kind of thing.
Oh no, it's Mr. Chud.
Of like good and evil.
If you make
Hey, it's Keith David. Fuck yeah.
the meanest, gruffest, most aggressive choice,
This is the best part of this disc.
that doesn't always get you the result that you ultimately want. That's a positive.
You son of a bitch! I'll make sure everyone in the Alliance sees that. Your career is over.
What we've tried to do is actually say, listen, there really is no good and evil. There's your choices and the impact that they have on the world.
Typically, freedom and choice in a video game is limited to whether or not you
Her outfit's
turn on
unusual.
the
I'm trying to
system
decipher
or
it.
turn it off.
These games are not mindless anymore.
If you've got something to say, just say it.
Your people are still newcomers, Shepard. The galaxy can be a very dangerous place. Is the Alliance truly ready for this?
Choice is the most important thing. It's about giving the player as much choice as possible across all aspects of gameplay.
Most games are essentially a roller coaster, where you get in, you hang on for dear life. If you play right, you're gonna go up here and down here in the big falls and the big
I
squeeze,
mean,
and
not
then you go back down
fucking
again, and then it ends.
hidden object
With Mass
games.
Effect, it's more of a road trip. Where you get in your car, you got your 3 or 4 dumb friends, and you guys are going forward. And wherever you get to is gonna propel you to the next place. And some dumb decisions you make over here are gonna put you in a problem over here. Eventually, you're gonna get where you need to go. But the way it's gonna unfold is like a mystery.
Oh, there's more? Commercial break, I guess. This is like those fucking exhibition discs. So I think G4. G4 was still around. This when Code Monkeys was on there, right? Ninja Warrior. This was like the height. I know people say that's the low point, but fuck that shit. It's like you go to like a McDonald's, you want like one of the crappy hamburgers, but instead you're given a blowjob. I want the blowjob.
Is what makes a good movie story, is what makes a good novel. You need great heroes faced with extraordinary circumstance, and they rise to meet that because the faith of others hangs in the balance, and they're not afraid to ultimately sacrifice.
Okay, it's fucking cross. Is that, are those diamonds or is that all fake? What?
Of head game and old school storytelling.
One of the original goals for Mass Effect was to make a believable science fiction story for grown-ups.
The science fiction is really, really good in this game.
We've built up this whole history of all the different races that you'll meet, all the different alien species that you'll meet. We've built in detailed character backgrounds for everybody you meet in the game. We've built up a whole political system. It's really this sort of attention to detail and the depth that make Mass Effect what it is.
Before we actually set out and did the story, we wanted to create a place where you could tell a lot of stories. That was the most important thing.
What really gets me in this game is the fact that you can explore the universe. It's so Star Trek-y. It's awesome.
In Mass Effect, players get to enter this beautiful universe we've created, and then they get to shape it. You are Commander Shepard. You're an elite military agent with the Systems Alliance. That's humanity's military branch as they sort of go out and explore and expand into space.
Shepard is a classic hero.
You are a Spectre.
Spectres are this sort of galactic agency that is tasked with keeping peace across the galaxy through any means necessary. You know, they're sort of like the James Bonds of the future.
In the game, humanity has just joined the intergalactic community, if you will. It's like we were just joining the Federation in Star Trek.
The humans are the peons. They're the newbies. Nobody really knows what they're capable of. Nobody really likes them.
And the alien races are all kind of judging you to see, you know, do we trust these guys? Are they going to be helpful? Are they going to be dangerous? Do we have to go to war with them?
You can't just ignore a rogue Spectre. I demand action.
You don't get to make demands of a council, Ambassador.
So it's really up to the player to kind of decide what Commander Shepard becomes, because you are the symbol of humanity as a whole.
At its core, Mass Effect is all about man's fear of machines becoming too smart and becoming sentient. And I could not agree more wholeheartedly, because I have a coffee pot that turns off after 30 minutes if I forget to turn it off. And that scares the out of me.
Commander Shepard's kind of like a detective.
Who the
He's
fuck
also
is that
different
guy?
From Blade Runner, because he is in pursuit of an evil artificial intelligence.
We are under attack, taking heavy casualties. I repeat, heavy casualties.
You're deciding where you're going to go in the galaxy and what you're going to do to try and expose the rogue Spectre agent that seems to know a little bit more about this stuff than you do.
Saren is like a cat dragon with
cat
really
dragon.
long ears, and he's kind of got a pout. I think he's kind of got like really sad lips. He's like Garfield, only gray.
Saren is a Turian. He's an alien species, and he is.
It's like, they're more like birds.
In the galaxy.
Saren is
a dick.
There, I said it.
In the game, he's basically gone rogue. He's turned against everything he believes in. And as you play through the game, you start to find out there's reasons for why he's done this.
Saren is really an anti-hero.
He's not a cardboard cutout, villain that I have to hate. You may disagree fundamentally with what he's trying to do, but you can sympathize with his plight.
I mean,
useful, think how many lives can be
not really.
He's actually gathered a machine.
He's kind of cool though.
The Geth are kind of a ubiquitous enemy.
What's the cool thing about Mass Effect? Its scenario is that the bad guys in it are the Krogan and the Geth, being led by Saren, right? So it's kind of like this cool faction war.
Really shock players when they see.
I know there are some good Krogans, right? But more or less, the bad guys are the Geth and the Krogan. I think the later ones kind of, especially when you get to Andromeda completely forgets the Krogan, who the Krogan are.
What do you get out of going after Saren?
I'm not in this for the money. I want to be where the action is.
Of course, it makes sense in Mass Effect 2, given all the, the split off, and by Mass Effect 3, it's just, the Reapers taking over. But in the first one, from your perspective, the bad guys are the Geth and Krogan alliance. That more or less ends when the Geth are pushed back and the Saren is killed off, and now the Krogan have no one to, they just go back to their own separate factions. But
to ensure that they made alien races that didn't just differ in terms of how they looked, but they're actually different in the way they are culturally.
It's still pretty fucking.
Attitude, the way they are with politics and fashion.
I think people forget that detail.
Age where people are more open-minded. People are
because in 2, the bad guys were more or less
and Mass Effect lets you maybe explore
the two mercenary groups and the collectors.
Alien chicks are hot.
We've really tried for a very realistic and very hard science fiction kind of view, but we also tried to really convey the softer side of science fiction, the emotional side, the human side.
Sorry to interrupt, Commander. Got a message from Captain Anderson.
You've got all these morality situations where you're asked to make a judgment call.
Too many people died here, Fist. You don't get to walk away.
And so much what happens afterwards is going to be based on those series of judgment calls, much like life.
Maybe you have to choose between one crew member and another, and whoever you choose is going to live, and whoever you don't choose is going to die, and you're going to have to play the next, 10 hours of the game without the presence of that character. And in a game as emotional as Mass Effect is, it's a great loss, and you'll feel it.
We'll see that he receives a proper service once the mission is complete. But I need you to stay focused.
Aye, aye, sir.
You become so invested in the characters that you're running. You actually get emotional. You actually start feeling what your character might be feeling if it was an actual live person.
Not every game lets you interact with everyone on screen. Not every game lets you interact with death.
It gets you so involved on such a deep level in a video game. Can I just nerd for a second? Just walking through the ships, walking through the cities, you're just walking around just like, oh my gosh, just dumbfounded. They're huge. It is an entire world on this little disc.
The technology they use today is just, your jaw hits the ground. It's really a beautiful game.
Building a game like Mass Effect is a major undertaking. You've got hundreds of programmers and artists, you've got millions and millions of dollars, you've got a long history of technologies that you bring in.
We had well over 100 people working on it when we were in full production. It took about 4 years to make. You really have to start by limiting yourself so that you can actually make some progress.
The art were less for actual science, the writers were quite a bit more, so there was always this combat between the two.
Should we allow time travel? Should we allow instant space travel?
How do we actually go to other planets? Because thanks to Einstein, that jerk, we can't go faster than the speed of light. And the speed of light isn't all that fast. I mean, it's faster than my Toyota, but it's not that fast.
Mass Effect is, as a metaphor, the title, but it's also kind of the slang term in the Mass Effect universe for dark energy.
Dark energy sort of is this mysterious force.
It's actually drawn from real-life science news.
It's an energy that pervades the universe, and it causes the acceleration of the expansion of the universe.
Magnons, protons, electrons, that kind of stuff that you can use to harness to create What was the question again? I don't feel qualified to answer this.
Gravity acts repulsively on it. So if I had a lump of dark energy here, it would actually start inflating and it would actually create a new universe. That would be very exciting, but I guess the excitement will be somewhat short-lived.
I don't really understand how Mass Effect works, but you can like warp space and time and throw people around.
It powers the starships. It really powers all of the cool technology in Mass Effect, and yet it still kind of has a hook into being plausible in real-life science.
The technology they use seems realistic for the setting. It doesn't seem sort of fantastic and like, oh, you know, now we have a thing that turns monkeys into ice cream.
BioWare has really carved out a niche as, I think, probably the best developer in the world of role-playing games.
Citadel business. We got a Council Spectre aboard.
At BioWare, we've been working on this kind of game for a long time, and it's been an evolution.
We've finally been able to take everything we've learned from our previous games, and we've really kind of pushed that to a whole other level.
It's finally a next-gen game. It's taking that hardware that we've been promised and promised and promised, and like really, truly utilizing it.
Mass Effect is a really high-impact system, and each one of the components that we use is really high fidelity.
You've got all this stuff in the game. You have the exploration and the story and the action shooter, and you're modding weapons and you're changing armor, and yet you get inside and play the game and you don't feel like you're wrestling with any of that. It's just fun.
That's really what the essence of Mass Effect is. You always have something great to do.
You know, you don't taste sugar and egg and water and milk. You taste cake.
One of the things that Mass Effect does really, really well is they make the characters very believable.
They sit there and they turn and they watch you walk, and you don't even have to interact with them. They're reacting to you.
You say something mean to a character and they look back at you with sort of a sullen look. You know, you've done something. That's storytelling. You don't have to have this big, long discussion around it.
You can pull in the camera really tight to take a look at the smallest emotions that on the characters' faces.
You don't have to have a lot of words. You can sometimes just have a tilt of a head or a raised eyebrow that really convey as much as hundreds of words can convey in other games.
There's little tells that people give off, little movements of the eyes, little things that they do that actually you have to catch, and that actually gives you a clue into something else. That's pretty amazing.
You can actually tell when a character's lying. You can tell the way they're feeling about you. They can tell when they're nervous, when perhaps they're not happy with the decision that you made as their leader. You're like, I don't even have that much expression in my face.
Virtual acting isn't anything new. You see it all the time in movies now, in movies like Beowulf and Pixar movies. A lot of times, something's kind of off about it, and it's almost like you're watching like an old Godzilla movie where like the guy is talking, but the words don't quite match up.
The technical accomplishment that was most impressive was the head system that we came up with. Meshes for the actual shape of the face, custom animations for each of their facial gestures, dozens and dozens of sliders for things like, what is the distance between the bottom of your nose and the top of your lip.
Everyone seems to create a completely different character, and that's one thing that never ceases to amaze me, is how people all find their own way to play this game.
We've taken some of the great voice acting talent. We have an amazing group of actors that have contributed to this project.
We had really impressive performances from some famous actors like Keith David and Seth Green.
The quality of CGI is so improved these days that, it's amazing. It's amazing.
As long as, these graphics don't replace actors altogether, which has always been the long-term fear, that it could happen.
Nothing that'll spoil a good video game than a shitty actor.
It's an incredible picture of what you can do if you really take your time and build it right.
The great thing about Mass Effect is right from the start, we've envisioned it as a huge trilogy of games.
The jerk that you were in the first one, or the hero that you were in the first one, is the character you're starting with in the second one.
People are going to see that choices they made in the first game will carry through the second game and even all the way into the third game.
It really has taken us all of these many years to build up the amount of technology that it requires.
The 360 really allowed us to build the game we wanted to build this time with photorealistic environments, photorealistic characters.
The sound, the graphic quality, we pushed it pretty hard.
It's dedicated to that HD TV experience, which gives you really high definition visuals.
It is the game that everybody wants it to be. If games are this hot right now, I'm excited about maybe by the time that I'm 50, you could almost be in something like the holodeck. And you could play this game and get lost in the game and play it for days and days and really feel like you're in the middle of it.
You have been given a great gift.
the experience of an entire people. It will take time for your mind to process this information.
I think a lot of people are going to play this game not once, but 3-4 times just to see how things would have gone differently.
You can change it every time you play. It's like a brand new game every time.
This is 1,000 games in one game.
I think we've taken all these elements and combined them to really make an experience that is really the pinnacle of interactive storytelling and immersion in gameplay.
I can't wait till people play this game and play through it so I can talk to them about what they did in the game and also what the choices were that they made.
I could see this game sucking up part of my life. So if I don't make any movies for the next couple of years, you'll know why. Lost in Space.
All right, let's wrap this up. God, this game was depressing. Good game, though. Not the best game, but pretty good game. Good story. Looks pretty good. Again, fucking depressing as shit. I know there's a DLC, but one thing I liked about Lost Odyssey is that it didn't try to overly explain the main characters, because with how it ends, it leaves it kind of ambiguous. But I don't know if the DLC tried to answer that, which would have been a shame. Microsoft is sitting on a lot of stuff. That would be great if they remastered this game. So it's just Halo, Halo, Gears, Halo. Oh, we're going to bring back Phantom Dust and Crackdown. We're going to fuck both of them out and only release Crackdown.
Lieutenant Kaya Marganar, it seems people are calling you the Immortal. We've heard there were almost no survivors after the meteor crashed on the Highlands. And yet, you appear to be unharmed. How did you survive?
I don't know. What is the cost of my immortality? Lifetimes of battle.
Really, the only thing I didn't like about Lost Planet, I wasn't a big fan of its combat system.
Lifetimes of pain.
It kind of made some things fairly tedious, like exploring and stuff.
For 1,000 years, but I
Did I say Lost Planet? I meant Lost Odyssey.
As a mysterious magic power infects the soil of the world, the past must be revealed.
And at the time, like Final Fantasy 13, that's a PS3 exclusive. It later came out. That was revoked, but it's like that's gonna be way better. It's like, Jesus, people are like, that fucking game. All right, the monsters. What's this? All right, the end. Oh shit, I remember this. I mean, this is cool, but this really fucks me. What weird choice for music for this. It's like, oh, Lost Odyssey, yeah. When I think of that, I think of Jefferson Airplane. It's a damn cool game, though. See, half of these are fucking bangers. I still like Fable 2, though. But two of them are fucking classics. One, I mean, it's probably the best game on the 360. That's Mass Effect. That or Mass Effect 2. Halo, like there's a lot of candidates. I think I would probably. If I had a gun to my face, I'd probably spread out Mass Effect 2, or I'd just say Mass Effect and mean all three, you know. Cheating. All right. There we go.